Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show and preview ahead of the game versus Forest. So the Liverpool-Everton game has been called annoying because it's really wet and horrible in England, so I don't want to go out today. And I had like my whole plan of 12 o'clock kickoff, 3 o'clock kickoff, Man United game. But that has been called off. There has been rumours that United game could be called off. As of now, the update is that the United game still stands. We're going to talk about what we know so far on the United game, who could be in the starting 11, a couple other transfer news and stories. But this was said here by the United stand. Today's Premier League fixture at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Nottingham Forest is scheduled to go ahead as planned. It's in the stands. La. So the Manchester United game is set to go ahead. I also do apologise if we do get any lag on today's live show. I do apologise if there's any lag. But in today's video, we're going to talk about the team news, who's back, who's not suspended, who's available, who's in the travelling squad. La was at home, who's in the squad. We're going to talk about one star asking to leave Manchester United. Not in Amorim's plans, could go in January. United are now looking for a replacement in January. We're going to talk about Amorim and what he believes United's biggest issue is, and he hits the nail on the head with this. We're going to talk about Amorim knowing what our biggest issue is, and I'm just so confident in this manager. Amorim speaks about his plans. There's a new Wonderkid that Man United are trying to sign. A 16-year-old Wonderkid has been invited to train with Manchester United for a week to see if they're going to sign him. A few other interesting moves are planned. So there is lots to talk about in today's show, so please do go ahead and hit that like button if you do enjoy today's show. And if you are new and you want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, please do subscribe down below if you're new. I do one 10-minute long video a day where I put all the news into a 10-minute video, get right to the point, and then I do a live stream pretty much every day as well, which is 30 to 45 minutes where I talk about the news with you guys, and it's a bit more interactive. We're on 98,379 subscribers, with 21 subscribers away from 98.5k, so it'd be amazing if we can hit that by the end of the day, because then that will put us only 1.5k away from 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely mad as well. Liverpool FC TV says, bit of a downer that our match was called off, but that's a good thing. Our players get a week off, and majority of our injured players are back next week. Do you know what? From a Liverpool perspective, your squad is looking thin. You've had a lot of injuries. Kanate is obviously the most notable one. You've had Alisson. You've had a lot of players out. And I think, versus Newcastle, you looked leggy. It was the Salah show, but you looked leggy. And I think that Newcastle give every top six team a big game. I always say when Arsenal, Liverpool, City play Newcastle, I would never bet on any of them to beat Newcastle, because Newcastle will give a TV game. I thought Liverpool looked leggy, so I guess from a Liverpool fan's perspective, that probably helps them a little bit. But yeah, I hope the Man United game is on. I know the games are coming thick and fast, and I think if it is off, we do get a week off and we could do some stuff with Amorim. But I want to watch football today, so I hope the Man United game is on. But let's dive into the news. So let me just mute my phone as well, because that is just going bleep, 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 bleep. Lissandro Martinez and Kobbie Mainoo will return from suspension for Man United versus Nottingham Forest. Tell you what, we could have really done with them in that game. We could have done with them in that game versus Arsenal. I think we did well out of possession, but I think in possession is where we lacked. And I think considering that Mainoo and probably Lissandro Martinez are our two best players in possession at breaking the lines, we did miss them versus Arsenal, which was a shame. Ruben Amorim says Lindelof has returned to training, but Evans hasn't. Lindelof has returned to training, but Lindelof isn't expected to get many minutes under Amorim anyway, or play many minutes. He's like, the centre-back list goes like this: Lucha, De Ligt, Yoro, Maguire, Mazraoui, and Luke Shaw are all ahead of Lindelof in centre-back positions. Evans could even be fit, so I don't see Lindelof getting many minutes. Ruben Amorim will probably play him in a game here and there. He likes to rotate, but I don't think Lindelof coming back is anything significant. No offence to Lindelof as well. Someone said, is the roof fixed at Old Trafford if it rains? Oh, if it rains, man. Oh, but yeah, I think it'll be a Casemiro Mainoo midfield. We will talk about that, because Ruben Amorim suggested that Agate need to be rested as well. Forest in terrible form. Won't be surprised if they get battered by us. They are in bad form, but you actually have to look at who they've played. Nottingham Forest started the season unbelievably, and I do think they massively overachieved. Chris Wood had overachieved his XG more than anybody else, so I think Chris Wood was being ridiculously clinical. Forest lost 3-0 to City, but then they beat Ipswich 1-0, but then they lost 3-0 to Arsenal. So Forest, have got battered by Arsenal and City, but beat pretty much everyone else. I think it is a tough game. But because Forest had to play midweek and they're not used to playing midweek and they have a little bit less depth, I think it can potentially help us. They did get battered by City, but I think defensively, I thought they're quite a good side. But obviously, they have the big battering to City as well. I think United is going to win this game 2-1, but I think Forest is going to make it very, very difficult for us. I think they're going to have a low block. I think they're going to make it incredibly difficult for us as well. Everton, Liverpool is off. So what do we know ahead of the Forest game? Now, reports are coming out, leaked by sort of ITK accounts, but they did get the lineup right last time, that Xerxes, Ahmed and Martinez are starting according to leaks so far. Now, obviously, if I knew the full starting 11, I wouldn't leak it out because that gives us a disadvantage, so I'm not going to leak out what the reported starting lineup could be, but apparently Xerxes, Ahmed and Martinez are all going to start, is what's been said. I don't know the credibility of this, but I wouldn't be shocked. I think considering that, what the squad we played versus Arsenal, he likes to rotate, considering that we're going to dominate possession versus Forest, and I think when we're looking to dominate possession, he'll want Xerxes with Rashford running off him. I have a feeling what we're going to do. I think Ahmad, Martinez and Xerxes all didn't start the last game. I think they will start this game versus Forest. Amorim wants to make a point for players to be fit and ready. So we will talk about what I think the lineup could be versus Forest. I do want to get into the news about Bayindir and a couple other things as well. So bear with me and how he's asked to leave the club. I do want to get into that, but I will show you what I think the lineup's going to be. I will show you what I believe the lineup's going to be. Someone says, I don't know what someone's talking about something in the chat. Let me get this up here. So what could Man United's lineup look like later today? From what is being suggested, I'm going to guess it could be very similar to the Everton game. So I think it's going to be... Amorim said that Bruno can play every game, but Ugarte may need more rest, is what he said. He said the midfield did a lot of work versus Arsenal. Ugarte may need rest. So considering Forest is a slower game, although I think Maino struggled last time he played Forest, to be honest. I think it will have Ugarte rested, which I don't think we can rest Ugarte. I think he's too important. But I think it will be this team here. I think Diallo, I don't really like Diallo left wing back, but there's not really much we can do there. Diallo, I think it will be Leacher. I think Maguire did I'm just going to say this now. I was really happy with Maguire's performance, but I think because he's just come back from injury, I think it's going to be De Ligt starting again, and I think it will be Mazraoui. From what I am guessing, and from what's been sort of put out there, I think that could be the starting 11. I think Ugarte is more suited than Casemiro to partner Maino, but Casemiro's been alright lately. Christian Eriksen was reportedly told via phone last week that he wasn't part of the squad. Christian Eriksen is fit and well, and apparently he was just texted to say you don't need to come to the match, you're not part of the squad. So I don't see Eriksen getting many minutes. Apparently he's really just not in the plans. There's a few rumours about Eriksen essentially almost being iced out already, despite having a good start to the season as well. Big up everybody in the chat, guys. Big up everybody supporting the channel. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We are 20 subscribers away from 98.5k. So if you are new, you're more than welcome to subscribe if you're enjoying the content. We go live a couple of hours before every match we play. We go live most evenings on the channel talking about the latest news, and I do 10-minute news roundups as well. But I want to get back into the news. I want to get back into a few stories going about on certain players being unhappy, asking to leave, a little bit of information coming out. I will keep you updated on the team. As of now, Manchester United have confirmed that we understand fan travel will be disrupted by the weather, so the fixture will not be included in the minimum number of games that season tickets must be used, is what they've said. They said the game will go ahead, is what Manchester United have said so far. They keep saying that the game will go ahead tonight versus Forest as well. I'll probably do a watch along tonight as well. I probably will do a watch along tonight. I haven't done watch along for the last few games, but it's just been exhausted. So, interesting news coming out. Now, this has come from The Sun, so I'm not going to give it too much attention. But Manchester United sent scouts to watch Tyler Dibbling in his last 3 games for Southampton. Now, The Sun is full of rubbish. The Sun absolutely is full of BS. But what I will tell you is that Manchester United have been looking at Tyler Dibbling because I know that from credible sources. Have they sent scouts to his last 3 games? I can't tell you that. Do they have an interest in Tyler Dibbling? Absolutely. Man United have an interest in Tyler Dibbling. They have been watching Tyler Dibbling. It is one to keep an eye out, but so have Arsenal, so have Tottenham. A lot of people have expressed an interest in Tyler Dibbling, not just United. When it comes from the Sun, I can't exactly take that as anything credible, but I do think they probably have been scouting Dibbling. He's a good young player, and I think United could make a move for him as well. Amorim likes playing Bruno Deep, and I agree with him. I think he plays Bruno Deep some games and more events other games. I think he depends what dynamic in the front three he thinks works best, because you've got to fit Mason Mount in. So, this is what's been said on Bayindir. Championship side Hull City want to sign Bayindir in January. Bayindir wants to leave Manchester United. Many rumours that Bayindir has asked the club to leave in January. So Bayindir is apparently asked to leave in January. He wants to go to Hull. Manchester United are assessing their goalkeeping options in case Altay Bayindir leaves during the January window. Bayindir is known to want more first-team football. United would prefer to wait till the end of the season to replace him, but will be ready to move in January if needed. So Bayindir has basically asked the club to leave. He's not happy with the lack of football he's getting. He believes that he's good enough to be playing regular football. But Manchester United obviously would rather bring in a new keeper in the summer, not January. But if Bayindir still continues to push to leave, which is what he's doing, he's pushing to leave the club, Manchester United is saying, okay, well, maybe we will have to let Bayindir go in January, and then they'll have to look at a second keeper in January. So apparently United are actually looking at second keepers now. We did almost bring Suzuki in. We almost looked at the keeper that's currently at Brighton as well. But yeah, Bayindir has asked to leave the club because Amorim's not going to give him any minutes as well. Dibbling is technical, but he doesn't run. I think he runs quite a bit, if I was going to be honest as well. Like he makes so many dangerous runs in behind, in my opinion, as well. Forest didn't have to travel to Nottingham, so they've probably been in Manchester all week since the City game, maybe, but then they do train back in Nottingham in between. You never know. But yeah, Bayindir has asked to leave. For me, when Bayindir could have probably got a few more cup games here and there, particularly when Onana was poor when he first joined United. But when Bayindir has played, he's not been good. Like, let's not act, like, you know, when Romero used to play. You know, when we used to rotate David De Gea out and we'd have Sergio Romero come in, and Sergio Romero was absolutely mint. But Bayindir, he's not like that. It's not like, you know, Liverpool have Kelleher. We had Sergio Romero. You know, they would come in, he'd be absolutely mint. Bayindir's just not been impressive for me. Like, I don't think he's an awful keeper, but he's not stepped up when given opportunities. Yes, he's lacked and had limited opportunities, but he's really just not stepped up, in my opinion. If I was going to be honest, I don't rate him, and I think he could go. It just, I think, is a bit of a faff to get a goalkeeper in January, but he wants out. Apparently, he's told Amorim he wants out. A lot of people are putting Agate in their predicted lineup, but I think it might be Casemiro. From what Amorim has said on Agate and him needing a bit of rest, I think that Agate won't start. But I think if I would start Agate myself, but I don't think Agate is going to start as well. So let's dive into the next story, the next bit of information. And I think this quote from Amorim is a very good and very telling quote. Amorim said this: "It's impossible to win the Premier League without a team that with every moment runs back, runs forward. Even with the best starting 11 on the planet, without running, they will not win anything. If we want to win the Premier League, we have to run like mad dogs." Absolutely spot on there from Ruben Amorim. Absolutely spot on. If Manchester United want to win the Premier League, we are going to have to run. The reason City got battered by Tottenham is because Tottenham outrun them. The reason we got battered by Tottenham is because Tottenham outrun us. The reason we got battered by Liverpool is because Liverpool outrun us. The reason Liverpool beat Real Madrid is because Liverpool outrun them. The reason Newcastle have taken points off City, Liverpool and Arsenal is because Newcastle can bloody run, okay? If you can run, you have such an advantage. The only teams we've outrun this season are Chelsea and Fulham. Only teams we've outrun this season. All the other games, we've been outrun by Ipswich, outrun by Brentford. Every single other game, we've been outrun in. Absolutely. And if we want to win games, we've got to outrun opponents. Ruben Amorim knows his biggest problem at United is the physical flooring. Getting back, running, covering ground. And until we fix that, we can't succeed. But that will be addressed in the transfer window. Ruben Amorim demands intensity. Amorim on the physical aspect to improve. If they're used to doing it in training, they will do it in matches. They're professional athletes and they can improve. They cannot be faster, but they can run more by training. We have to improve in training, then in matches we will be able to do it. And as H says here, you can talk about suboptimal structures in and out of possession, but just listen to Amorim and tell me he isn't clued up in addressing the concerns of the team. He gets it. It's all there. He gets it better than any other manager post Alex Ferguson, I believe, a lot because of the way he speaks. And the way Amorim speaks in press conferences, the way Amorim speaks about Manchester United, I agree. He just gets it. For me, he just gets it. The biggest problem at United isn't this, it isn't that. It is, first of all, we need a team that can run, because until we have a team that can run, we will lose battles in the pitch. Once we've got a team that can run, once we've got a structure in place and we profiling players correctly and getting the best out of them, then if a player just isn't good enough, we replace them, we improve on that. But the most important thing that we can do, because I generally believe that Ruben Amorim has spoken about the squad lacking, running, covering ground, tracking back, intensity. I think he knows what the biggest problems are. He said that, look, we're not scoring goals, but we need to improve the system. It's not just on the players for not scoring goals, which I completely agree with. He's saying, we need to be more creative. We need to do this. We need to do that. For me, Ruben Amorim sees the problems. He gets the problems. He's not a magician, though. He can't just solve it. Ineos now have to get a spot on. Ineos in the summer have got to get a left wing back that can stay fit and can get really up and down the flanks. I like Dorgu. I like Anthony Robinson. I like Kerkez. I think Miros Kerkez is who we could go for. I like Alphonso Davies. I'm thinking Kerkez could be the one that they go for. We need a left centre-back that is able to defend wide spaces, large spaces of ground. Someone that is able, quite physically good. We might look at Braithwaite. We might look at Murillo. We might even look at Schlotterbeck. We need a midfielder that is, one, technically good and can do what Maino does on the ball, but two, has legs just like Ugarte to reinforce the physical flooring of the midfield. Belieber's one that stands out. Bruno Guimaraes would be an absolute dream, but I don't think we'd get him. I think we probably need two, because I'm going to assume both Eriksen and Casemiro leave. And then in attack, we need someone that can score goals, someone that can dribble, someone that can make an impact. If we're talking dreamland, Cunha, Kvaratskhelia, there's a lot that we need. For me, the four most important signings is Kvaratskhelia, Braithwaite, Belieber, and probably someone like Kerkez or Dorgu for me. And then I think, depending on sales, another midfielder, either a right centre-back or right wing-back, and potentially another attacker is needed. There is reports that United could look to sell players to bring in funds. They could sell a Rashford, they could sell a Garnacho to bring in funds, but I don't see that happening in the summer as well. We need Storm Rasmus today. Apparently he's on the bench as well. Someone said he's talking about Rashford never runs. I don't think he's particularly talking about Rashford for not running, because Rashford's job is to run in behind. But I think what he's talking about, the team not running, it's just the fitness of the team. How our midfield gets outrun by the opposition other than Ugarte. It's not on individual players, it's on the team as general, how we just get outrun so much, if I was going to be honest. I think the problem is our lack of legs. This is what I tweeted earlier. I'll show you this here. So this was, what I would have in terms of my rebuilds. So I put Braithwaite, Dorgu, Kvaratskhelia and Belieber there. Obviously, I did say Kvaratskhelia is probably a long shot. For me, it could be Braithwaite, it could be Murillo, it could be Schlotterbeck, it could be Luka Bar. I think we need a left centre back. We need a left wing back. It could be Dorgu, it could be Kerkez, it could be Aït-Nouri, it could be Alphonso Davies, it could be Robinson. We need a left back. For me, Kvaratskhelia would be amazing because he's a winger with pace. I think Cunha, João Pedro could also work well in the 10 position, and then Belieber. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think we need a Casemiro replacement and an Eriksen replacement. I think we need a left centre-back, a left wing-back. I think we need attacking reinforcement. And depending on other sales, I think we might need either a right wing-back or right centre-back. I generally do. But they were the four players I picked out. I'm more than happy for Schlotterbeck or Murillo instead of Braithwaite or Kerkez instead of Dorgu. They were just four that, I picked up off the top of my head, which, some people won't like. Stiller would be another one, yeah. I mean, someone said, what about Huijsen, the one that scored against Spurs? He's very good, but we've got Lenny Yoro, very, very young. Naipan is definitely one to keep an eye on as well. What about that left wing back? Which left wing back? Because I've named a lot of left wing backs as well. Do you think Braithwaite's good enough? I think I think for the right price, I wouldn't spend more than £45 million on Braithwaite. Maybe 50 million on him. I wouldn't spend more than 50 million on him. I hope Everton get relegated and we can get him for 40 million. That's what I hope. If I was going to be totally honest when it comes to Braithwaite. But I think Ineos have got to get recruitment spot on. They've absolutely got to go out there and get recruitment spot on as well. Man United will want to win their away game against City next Sunday, and I think we could win it with the right approach. 588 people in the chat. Big up everybody watching today's show. Please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. And please do subscribe if you're new. We're 18 subscribers away from 98.5k. Maybe we can hit that by the end of the day as well. Bramford's overrated. I wouldn't say he's overrated, but I think he's overpriced. I think he's a very good player. I know he played dreadfully against us, but that was a one-off. I just think he's over. I think he's just overpriced. So let's talk about a few other things that's been said by Amorim. He said, "How do we prevent this team from making an effort in the first few months and then falling back into old habits?" He said, "I just want to talk about what I see, and what I see is that they are making an effort." He said, "There are a lot of things to improve in a few months. We will see what players' state of mind is like, and I think if those players do stop making an effort, they're going to be out the door." And Ineos will 100% back that as well. Continuing on, Amorim said on formation, he said, "It's difficult to change formation when arriving at a new club. It's more difficult to change the nature of the players. Formation is simple, they can manage it easily." He's saying the most difficult thing is to change the nature of the players, which is to get players to run more. That's what it is. He knows that the formation will change and it's difficult, but he knows the biggest problem he faces is getting the players that can, change their mindset, their running, some of their abilities. That's the most difficult thing as well. There is news of Manchester United looking at Charlotte's 16-year-old forward Nimfasa Berchimus. I'm sorry if I've said that name wrong. Will spend the next week training United in the club and monitoring his future. Manchester United are looking at quite a few players. He obviously plays over in America for Charlotte, 16 years of age. He's a left winger. Look, I don't know a lot about him. I couldn't tell you much about him, but I can just tell you he's a very highly rated youth player. I believe he's from the United States. He's obviously playing over in the USA. But Man United did this with Lucas Bergvall, and we were going to try and bring him in, and then there was some Brexit issues. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But he has 6 goals in the MLS Pro at age 16. He's played right wing, but predominantly left wing. Is what's sort of been said. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with him as well. Who do you think will get in the winter window? It depends on sales. I think Ericsson could go, and we might look at getting in a midfielder with like legs and energy. I think a left wing back if the right one's available, but I think with Kirkes he won't be available to the summer, so I think we could hold back on left wing back. Look, it depends if there's any injuries between now and then. Midfielder and left wing back's what we're looking at, and if Bayindir goes, I think a goalkeeper as well. I think if Bayindir goes, maybe a goalkeeper as well. If I was going to be honest as well. Big up everybody in the chat. Someone says, "Alice, where do you think United will finish this season?" I'm going to say 6th. And I think we'll finish above Villa. I think we'll finish above a lot of teams. But I think ultimately this is a new manager coming in that's got to implement so many new things. So I'd like to finish top 4. But I can see us finishing 6th if I was going to be totally honest. Sorry, just all yawn there as well. The match is scheduled. Yeah, the match. Someone is asking if the match is called off. There's no information on the match being called off. As things stand, the match will go ahead. I think that you will know by about 2 p.m. If they call it off, they have to call it off by about 2 p.m. because people will be travelling. So I think we will know by about 2 o'clock if the match is going to stay or not. But as of now, the match is still on. Yes. Someone said Anana has been good this season. Anana has been good this season. Mazraoui's been good this season. We have a lot of players that, for me, have been really, really good this season. Really, really good this season. I say a lot. Mazraoui and Anana, I think have been good this season. I think Delict's been good this season. I do. I think Martinez has been all right. But I think Agate's been pretty good this season. So I do think, and Ahmad obviously been good this season. I actually do think we've had players, that have been better than we think, if I was going to be honest. But that is me absolutely waffling because I was looking at something else as I said that as well. But left wing back's got to be priority, yeah. I'm really excited by the left wing back market. I don't know about you guys, but I was looking at the left wing back market. Miros Kirkes, if you see him versus Tottenham, the way he can power up the wing, he can get up and down the wing, powerhouse, puts in good crosses first time. He's given me like Luke Shaw with legs vibes when Luke Shaw was explosive. I really like Kirkes. I like Anthony Robinson. I do think he's better suited to a back 4, but again, he's got that running power. to get up and down. Dorgu's someone I need to watch more, but he's more of a left winger than left wing back. Definitely very attacking minded fullback, and I think at a 5 at the back system, what he does and what he provides is fantastic. Aït-Nouri again would probably suit a 5 at the back system, attacking minded, but I think Aït-Nouri is a little overrated. And then there's obviously Alphonso Davies, who's not happy at Bayern Munich, is debating the new contract. I don't know if we're going to get it or not. Mazraoui, Ahmed Agate, top dogs. Do you know what's great about this transfer window is we've been super impressed with Mazraoui, and I think Agate's really proven his worth, which is 2 of the signings. Lenny Yoro, when he has played, which is 20 minutes, looked really good, and De Ligt has been good for the most part. 4 out of our 5 signings have, for the most part, been impressive, and I think Xerxes had a few good games here and there where he's shown glimpses, but he's been used wrong. Should we get Son on the free from Spurs? Yeah, should we talk about this? So, I read this yesterday. Who did it come from? I think it came from The Sun. Or someone full of... I think it is an absolute BS report, but there was a report going about at the moment that Manchester United are going to sign Son as a free agent, apparently, or something like that. To be honest, Son hasn't been very good this season for Tottenham. He's definitely dropping off and on his last legs. And it hasn't even come out from a bad journalist. I'll get this story up here. It hasn't even come out from a bad journalist. Like, I don't think Bates is a bad journalist. I don't know how I feel. So this is what was said, because I actually think he doesn't suit Ange Postecoglou's system as a winger, because Ange Postecoglou likes touchline wingers, whereas Son is like Rashford is someone that isn't really a touchline winger. He does his best work when he's more central and closer to goal. He's more of a left forward than a left winger. When Kane could facilitate him in, which would be Xerxes in United's case, I actually think he'd be better suited to Amorim's system than Ange's system, and I don't think he's been very good for Tottenham this season. There is talk that at Manchester United that Son is a viable target for the club if he becomes a free agent. Would I take Son on a free? Yes, depending on the wages. Now, I don't think he's been particularly good this season. I think he's quite old. I think we need to go to long-term signings rather than short-term signings. If I was going to take Son, I'd want him in January. I'd want Son this January to help us score goals. But again, he's not been at his best for Tottenham. And I think going for Son, who's going to be 32 in July, probably isn't the best approach. I like him, and available on a free, you think, wow. But I think, for me, ideally, I'd rather get Kvaratskhelia. I don't think we're going to get Kvaratskhelia. I don't think we've got really any chances of getting Kvaratskhelia. But if I was to give you my honest opinion, that's where I'd go. I'd go out there and I'd say, ooh, let's go for Kvaratskhelia. But again, I don't see us getting Son. I don't see us getting Kvaratskhelia. I don't know what we're going to do in attack. But apparently, United will sign an attacker, but they're going to wait to the summer when they feel that there's more options available. What we know is that United are looking at left wing back and central midfielders. We're looking at left wing back and central midfielders ahead of January. Centre back and striker we're looking at in the summer. United want an attacking reinforcement, a left centre back, a left wing back, and an athletic midfielder. They're the 4 sliders they want in 2025. They'll probably also maybe look at a right wing back, another midfielder, another attacker, another centre back, depending on sales. But we know they're the 4 they're focusing on, with left wing back and centre mid being looked at in January in case there's anything they can do. Will we move for Miros Kerkez? I'm not sure. Liverpool are apparently going to move for Miros Kerkez and could move in January, so that is one to watch out for. Are we going to look at Dorgu, who could be available in January? Are we going to make a move for Robinson? Aït-Nouri? Are we going to wait it out, see if we can get Alphonso Davies? There's so many question marks about it. If I could, what is your dream signing, Alice? If we're talking not realistic and dream, I would get Luka Bar in from RB Leipzig. I would get Kvaratskhelia in from Napoli. I'd get Bruno Guimaraes in from Newcastle, and I'd get Alphonso Davies in for Bayern. If I had to name 4 dream signings, that's who mine would be. I also like Tchouaméni as well, but I think Bruno Guimaraes, there's something about Bruno Guimaraes. I'd love him at Manchester United. I think he's fantastic as well. Garnacho on the bench apparently. Who knows? Apparently Rashford, Xerxes, Bruno's the front 3 today as well. Son, 3 goals, 4 assists in 11 games in a Spurs team ravaged by injury. He's not bad. The thing with Son is he's a good player, and I don't think he 100% suits Ball and Ange's system. I think he would be more suited to Amorim's system as that actually in that 10 role. But I think it's just the age and him dropping off a bit. I think that's something that we've done in the past, and it's not served us well long term. Like Arsenal brought Sterling in, and Sterling's been crap for them. Sometimes we need to move away from that and go for younger, fresher players. I think that's something that we might need to focus on as a team as well. Guimaraes would be unreal, but Anthony Gordon, Isak I'd like, but Guimaraes would be my first choice, just because I think the midfield, what Guimaraes does in terms of athletic and technical qualities, and he's a captain, he's a leader, he would be my dream signing, Bruno Guimaraes. Because I think if you don't get Isak, there's still loads of strikers out there that I rate really highly. I think I'd take Isak, Bruno Guimaraes and Gordon in a heartbeat, but Bruno Guimaraes just, for me, at United would be, yeah. Xerxes going to cook Forest? Hopefully so. Listen, people, I'm going to wrap up today's show here. Just wanted to make it half an hour, talk about the Forest game, but I hope you did enjoy today's video. Please do go ahead and hit that like button if you did enjoy today's video, and you're welcome to subscribe down below if you're new. I should be back later today for United versus Forest watch along. We're also currently on 98,484 subscribers as well, so 16 away from 98.5k. Big up everybody in the chat. Thank you for watching today's show. My prediction is a 2-1 win to United. Let me know your predictions. But I think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be difficult. Hopefully the game isn't called off. And yeah, I'll see you later.